Portland International Airport, a hub for travelers coming and going from all ends of the earth. Maria Burkhart Briley and her partner Tony pick up their bags after a 15-hour flight home from Malaysia.
Yay, got my bags.
But it's what Maria unpacked, half a world away, that has made this journey so remarkable.
It was a life-changing trip. I feel like I've been trying to make this trip my whole life.
The journey lightened the load of memories she's carried for 46 years of another flight that nearly made this one an impossibility.
I remember people screaming and crying and like the oxygen masks dropping down and bodies everywhere and the lights kind of.
Back safely in her North Portland home, Maria remembers Japan Airlines Flight 715.
Rescuers came. It just looks disintegrated, to say the least.
It crashed in bad weather on September 27, 1977. Maria was on that plane with her parents, returning from the U.S. to Malaysia where they lived.
It was quite violent. The plane actually broke in half.
A toddler, not even 3 years old, Maria and her mother survived the crash, but 34 people did not, including Maria's father, an electronics manager at a factory in Malaysia.
She was still in her seat with my dad, my dad did pass away from that crash.
Maria was sent back to the U.S. to recover and never returned to Malaysia until mid-August. A trip to see where she was born, where her father died, and to give thanks to a man who helped save her.
I felt like I looked stunned and he was just taking me, and he's so young, and it does make me tear up.
A long-awaited reunion captured on Malaysian television.
46 years on, Nadiswaran was finally reunited with Maria, who came down to Malaysia from the United States.
God had a hand in saving me and making sure Nadis was in the right place at the right time. And
in 1977, a young Raja Nadiswaran was a part-time sports reporter, typing up a story when the crash happened. With everyone else on assignment, he was sent to cover it. Arriving before ambulances, first responders handed Nadiswaran a child to take to the hospital, little Maria, thrown from her mother's arms in the crash onto a pile of rubber tree leaves.
Take her to the hospital. So it's awfully cold. So I took off the shirt I was wearing, covered her, and I went off by body.
Video of their reunion went viral. Maria and Nadiswaran spent several days together, including touring the crash site. Back home in Portland, she shared video of their visit.
I like this because I caught Nadis here. And this is literally at the site that it happened. I'm glad to hear that.
The crash site is soon to be developed, but property owners saved part of the wreckage.
This is a part of the seat,
showing Maria, the first survivor, to return.
It's amazing that this is here. I never thought that I would see this.
A chance to remember those who didn't make it, especially her father.
It was a little overwhelming, intense kind of spiritual moment. So yeah, just remembering him there and the other people that had passed there.
A moment shared with the man who got her to safety.
It feels father, like I'm with my father, kind of, when I'm with Nadis.
Yes, newborn daughter, yeah.
There you are. Hi, Nadis. Hi.
Nadiswaran always wondered what happened to the little girl he helped rescue. They finally found each other during the pandemic online and have kept in touch on Skype and WhatsApp ever since.
What else is new on your side?
Spending time with my son and Tony and my mom. That's about the extent of it, but I do miss being on vacation.
Helping save Maria's life also changed Nadiswaran's life.
Here she is. This is Laurel.
Hi there, Nadis. He was no longer a part-time sports reporter barely making ends meet. I understand you've become quite a famous, well-respected, well-known journalist.
Yes, I worked my way. I created a niche market in journalism by going into investigative journalism. I pioneered it in Malaysia.
As for Maria, She would go on to become a nurse, to lift up others and help them heal, raise a son, and help support her mother who lives with her. All because a young sports writer decades ago cared enough to carry a little girl to safety. What do you feel like you owe him?
Everlasting gratefulness for his keeping me safe and keeping me healthy, and making sure that I made it through that.
A bond born of tragedy that gave each new life, and years later, a treasured friendship.
It was great talking to you.
Nice talking to
And
you.
we'll talk again.
Okay, well, I'll talk soon, I hope.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Nadis. Take care.
Laurel's here with me now, and I love stories like that. How did you find that story?
Well, we get our stories in very interesting ways, but how about this one? So Wiley Post was a producer here at KGW, since moved to our sister station in Houston. He texted me and said, boy, do I have a story for you. Maria Briley went to nursing school with his wife here in Portland, and he said, you got to hear this story about this amazing reunion. So I said, I'm in. Let me call Maria.
And good stories always find a way.
Right.
And the reporter became super famous after he rescued her?
He did. He's kind of like, well, think about Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes, or how about our own investigative reporter, Kylie Boshi.
Sure.
They come knocking on your door with a microphone. You know you've got some tough questions to answer.
Wow, quite a pivot for a sports guy.
That's right.
And she's not afraid to fly, or is she?
Well, I asked her that because that was the first question that came to my mind after being in a plane crash. Friends asked her that. She says no. She doesn't have nightmares or anything. She's not afraid to fly. She doesn't remember a lot except what she shared with us. She's all ready to pack her bags for another long flight to Malaysia to see her newfound friend Raja Nadaswaran, and we thank them for sharing their story.
Wow, that lack of memory is a real gift,
Yes,
I think, for
right.
that incident. Thank you, Laurel. It's a wonderful story. Appreciate
Always
it.
great to be on your show, Pat.
Thank you.